All right, welcome everybody. I'm sure you had it all marked on your calendars, but today is Arbor Day, National Arbor Day. I'm here for a couple of reasons. One, we want to mark the occasion. We're serious about trees in New Bedford and have been for a while, and about to get very serious, much more serious about trees. And so I want to mark the Arbor Day occasion, the occasion of Arbor Day with here in downtown New Bedford by quickly reading a proclamation. Then we're going to talk about trees a little bit. So this is how Arbor Day came about. So in 1872, a man by the name of J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. I'm sure you all know that. This holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in the state of Nebraska. Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and throughout the entire world. Trees can reduce the erosion of topsoil by wind and water. They can cut heating and cooling costs, moderate temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. Trees are a renewable resource that give us paper, wood for homes, fuel for fires, and countless other wood products. Trees in our city increase property values, enhance economic vitality in business areas, and beautify our community. The city of New Bedford has led a community-wide initiative to increase the number of trees planted in New Bedford, and thereby enhancing the quality of life for all city residents. And so I'm here to recognize Arbor Day today with this official proclamation, but we've got more to say about trees. So let me put it this way. When it comes to beautifying neighborhoods and improving the quality of life in the city, there is no more cost-effective way to do it than to plant street trees. Street trees reduce air pollutants. Street trees slow down traffic, which is a real issue right here on 6th Street. Street trees reduce the heat island that we have in cities. The asphalt in cities absorbs sunlight. Trees cool that down. Street trees protect pedestrians, both in terms of slowing down traffic as well as protecting them from the street itself. And street trees beautify places. They make our city much more livable in so many ways. And if all these things weren't enough, here's this. Street trees dramatically, where planted, they dramatically raise property values, magically, just because they make neighborhoods look better. It's a no-brainer to plant street trees, and the city of New Bedford is about to get really serious about it. Over the last couple of years, we've planted roughly 1,000 street trees. We're about to ramp up our efforts and institutionalize our efforts for years to come. So it's I'm using this occasion on Arbor Day to announce that the city of New Bedford will wait for the garbage truck to pass. Let me start again now that we have peace and quiet. Say that trees reduce noise as well. I'm here to announce today that the city of New Bedford will plant 500 trees a year for each of the next 5 years. We're going to fill up the city with street trees because our city will be better off with street trees. It's a cost-effective way of improving our neighborhoods. It's a no-brainer, and we're going to get into it in a big way. To focus our efforts, we've hired an arborist, Chance Perks, who's from here, who understands the city, but who's passionate about trees, and you'll hear from Chance in a moment. You've seen him probably out working with DPI crews on planting trees, on trimming trees. We're doing it in a very serious way. Other cities are doing it to much success. And here in New Bedford, we're going to take the lead on this because I think it's in the city's interest that we devote resources to it. Where are the resources going to come from? A number of areas. Some of it's going to be city money, some of it's going to be private money, some of it's grant money, some of it's wastewater money, because trees are one of the best ways to remove stormwater from streets, another big benefit. The city's looking at big potential stormwater costs in the future, and has over the years because of all the combined sewer overflow outfalls that we have. We're trying to reduce the volume of water that enters our stormwater system. This is a way to do it. Trees suck up roughly 30% of the stormwater on streets where they're planted. It's a total no-brainer. We're getting serious about it, and again, mark the number. 500 trees a year in each year for the next 5 years. That's the goal we're setting, and I'm confident that we can achieve it. We have a crew in DPI led by Chance that's going to be continuing to plant trees. They're starting here in the downtown area. You've probably noticed over the last several weeks the downtown has been filling up with trees. We're going to be heading out to some of the main streets soon, places like Allen Street, Brock Avenue. We're going to be doing them over at Temple Landing. We're going to be doing them up in the north end. We've done substantial plantings in the north end already. But this is a big initiative, a big priority of my administration, and it's not going to result in a lot of taxpayer dollars being spent. It's just so cost effective. We're lucky to have in Mary RAPOSA, our parks director, someone who has a background in landscape architecture and in horticulture, who appreciates the values of trees. And I'm going to introduce Mary in a moment so that she can explain some of the value that will come from our planting trees and in this initiative. But we're very proud to say that we are well underway in this initiative, and we look forward to filling up our city. It's going to take time for the city to look different. After all, it takes the trees that were planted. We don't plant mature trees. We plant trees that are a few years old. But we're filling them up now so that 5, 10, 15 years from now we'll have some real great canopies in the city, and the trees will be getting all the benefits. The city will be getting all the benefits that we believe it will receive over the next few years. So, Mary, I know that I want to thank you for all the hard work that you do in so many ways for our city, but I wanted you to talk a little bit about the tree initiative and what do you think it'll mean to the city.
Thanks. Street tree planting is really important, as Mayor Mitchell has highlighted. Research has shown that neighborhoods with street tree canopies actually have better health than neighborhoods that don't. So there's just so many benefits to it. We have been doing some planting in parks as well, and this weekend we're going to be planting an orchard at Brooklawn Park. And again, public-private collaboration. The trees are being donated by Rainforest Maker, and it's going to be all volunteer help that's going to be putting them in. Last year we put an orchard in Victory Park down the south end, so not only is it a beautification project, but these are fruit trees, so there will be some harvest in the future. The trees are on public land, so the fruit will be public fruit. The other big project we had recently in the park is last weekend we had the Southeast Tree Wardens and Arborist Association came to Buttonwood Park with 35 to 40 tree professionals, and they did all sorts of tree work for us. They took down trees, they pruned up trees, they planted trees, and we're estimating that their combined, this was a day of service. This was all volunteer. They brought in equipment, they brought in cranes. It was really amazing. They were climbing trees. We're estimating that volunteer labor that they donated to the city last weekend is worth about $35,000. And an amazing amount of time that this crew, Chance's crew, would have had to spend to get that much work accomplished. So we're really thankful to them for that effort as well. I'm going to let Chance speak a little bit more to that, since he's the arborist here and really knows the details.
So thank you, Mary. Thanks for all of your hard work. And we do have an exciting program. I don't know if it might rain tomorrow, so we might not be able to get the planting in, but we're going to get it in.
We're going to do it Sunday.
So we're going to do it Sunday. Okay, we're going to do it Sunday. So mark my word. Sunday at 10 up at Brooklawn Park. We brought in Chance, who in various capacities had worked in and around the city for the last few years. He is an arborist by training. He knows what he's doing, and he has hit the ground running. Taking on the task of doing a tree inventory, doing the planning, the careful planning that it takes to do this right. Because if we're going to get into the business as we intend to, it's got to be done the right way. We can't. Planting trees isn't just a matter of sticking them in the ground and hoping for the best. They need to be cared for properly. They need to be fertilized. And we need neighborhoods to embrace them. We're doing the big plantings now, and the downtown as well as on main streets throughout the city. But we're also going to be doing an Adopt a Tree program, a really enhancing program that has not existed for some time. We're really going to take that up to the next level. But first, we're going to be so that citizens who want trees can call up and have trees planted for them. That program will be rolled out in the next few months. Now we're doing the big plantings along main thoroughfares and in the downtown. And Chance, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely, thank you. So the trees that we're planting today, along with, as part of the larger project, are ones better suited for living in the city. Not every tree will do well on the side of a street. You have traffic, you have heat, you have salty conditions in the wintertime. So it takes a real special breed of tree to be able to survive in the city environment. The tree that we're planting today is a red maple. Has shown, as the ones behind me, has shown to do well in this environment. Typically, they like a wetter environment, but they're hardy native specimens. The trees that we plant, my crew does a great job on, just like I've heard about raising a child, doing it well and giving them the structure they need when they're young. When the first couple minutes that we put them in the ground, that's the most important. Really making sure that it's done well right in the beginning so they can grow up to be mature individuals. That's really a part of the success for trees, and it has been done in the past, and we're going to continue to do so. In general, again, starting from downtown and radiating outwards, like the ripples on a pond, we're going to add these trees, again, for community enhancement. And again, this is something that will mostly benefit each generation into the future exponentially. So yes, there'll be a benefit today, but there'll be more so and more so and more so as time goes on. That's just the nature of trees.
All right, Chance, thanks so much for all your hard work. I know you're really knocking it out of the park. This is, let me just, to tie things up a little bit, I mean, like many of our other efforts in the city now, this is an effort that is totally aimed at the long term. If you look at these trees, they're smaller. They're smaller than the fully grown ones that you see in other parts of the city. We're not in this moment going to fully benefit from them, but we know 5 and 10 years from now, 20 years from now, the folks here in the city will benefit from them in all the ways that I described. We're looking forward to really setting up New Bedford well in those ways for the future, and we're very proud of this program. So with all that, I think we got a tree to plant, don't we?
That we do.
All right, so let's have at it.
So what we have here, in the morning we have to decide what species we're going to load up to go in the specific locations that we've chosen. So depending on how many we have for the day, we'll load them in a certain vehicle. We come out, we have a predetermined spot that we've already had dug safe, and we've already kind of identified as the right area for that tree. We then bring it on site, we have it unloaded, so we always have to have heavy machinery on hand to be able to do that. So this is like a multi-skill effort. It takes a little bit of everybody to kind of pitch in to make sure this thing's in the right spot and done well. So they'll put it on the ground, and then what they'll do in a minute is take off that wire basket, and that's really important for the tree success. The roots are really where it's all at. If the roots aren't happy, the rest of the tree is going to struggle, and you'll see that elsewhere in the city. So we'll take our time, make sure the soils that are there are okay and good enough to use and not all gravelly and full of junk. This soil actually looks pretty good considering it's in downtown New Bedford. Because we just don't know. It's been a long history, and there can be stuff under the ground that the tree's got to compete with. So this tree will kind of get opened up. We'll open up the crown. What I'll do is I'll prune up the crown just to make sure that, again, giving it the structure it needs when it's young so it can grow, especially nice and straight. In the city environment, we want to have a nice straight tree so it doesn't impede with local businesses and homes and street wires, things of that nature. Excuse me. So yeah, making sure that crown is in good shape when it goes in the tree, so we won't have to come back and revisit and prune the tree for, say, a year or two. Got to give it some time to really set root, if you will, and just become acclimated to the site. And that's a really important thing to get it going right from the get-go. A big part of this is water. In the city environment, it is very dry. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the tree in the hole. We'll kind of break up the root ball just a little bit, make sure it's set to depth. Trees are oftentimes, I shouldn't say oftentimes, you see it happen, it's something we try to avoid, is planting trees too deep. You'd almost rather plant a tree too shallow, like right here, like say the soil level to right here, as opposed to way up here. There are very specific tasks that go on in terms of the tree's kind of physiology that happens right here at this root flare, which is this area right here. So you want to just be careful not to put soil around that, or if you see trees planted around that, usually we'll have this little, we call it a little tree donut. That one helps with maintaining water to the tree, kind of directing water to the tree, but also making sure there's not any soil touching the actual trunk of the tree. So making sure the soil's at the right level, we try to get the tree nice and well centered in the hole. Again, looking around for any other obstructions, and then we get it in the hole. Yeah, a big part also what we're going to be doing this year is making sure that we irrigate and fertigate. We're going to take it one step further and mixing in, there's a local business that makes a great organic fertilizer that we're going to be utilizing to get in the hole with the tree. So right now it's just water, give it plenty of water, really allow it to acclimate to the site, but then throughout the heat of the summer we'll be coming around, the forestry division will be coming around and really making sure that the trees have what they need to really set roots. You know, the microbes in the soil are really the catalyst for a good growing tree. So making sure that's in place is a big part of what the success will be for these trees to grow. The tree crew of New Bedford have been doing this. Again, we're just like Mayor Mitchell has said, we're really ramping up here. We already have many trees in the ground already, and we're just starting off. We're getting to a nice swing of things. We already have, people know where we're going. The guys know, how to put it in. The guesswork is really, it's becoming very fluid, if you will, in how we put these trees in. So what I just did there was, again, really that top bud, that terminal bud right at the top of the tree is really going to dictate what's going to happen this season and next season. So just kind of cutting off any broken branches, making sure that top of the tree is in great shape to really allow the tree to reach for the sun. Even if you see throughout the city, if you see a tree that's been planted that's slightly crooked, these trees coming out of a nursery have kind of had we'll say a tough childhood. And so by kind of giving them the structure they need now, they'll grow nice and straight. These type of trees are what they call phototropic, so they're going to grow towards the sun. So if you see it a little bit crooked, it will grow and straighten itself out in time. We'll say unlike a pine tree that they call geotropic, just to give you some terminology, which grows in relation to gravity. That's why like when you're out in the mountains and you see spruce trees, they're still growing nice and straight, but they're growing in reference to gravity as opposed to the sunlight. So these trees will also straighten themselves out.
Put it in.
Absolutely. So what they do is roll it in. These trees, weigh in excess of 300 pounds, so not any one of us could lift it up. So the rolling is really important. And then we rock it around and really kind of take our time making sure that it's centered and things of that nature. Oftentimes we run into obstructions in a hole. Say there are maybe some cables down there or some large rocks that will have to force us to offset it just a little bit. So if you are going around the city and you see a couple that are offset, they're done so intentionally.